Aloha. Thank you for joining Hawaii Children's Action Network Speaks this morning for our endorsement announcement. This year, we're proud to endorse 9 candidates for State House and Senate races who will fight for our families and be champions for our children. But first, let me introduce myself. My name is Liza Ryan Gill, and I'm the board president for HCAN Speaks. HCAN Speaks is a nonpartisan, nonprofit 501c4 organization. Our mission is to ensure that all children are healthy, safe, and ready to learn. And we do so by lobbying and endorsing candidates who work to pass legislation on behalf of Hawaii's children and families. HCAN Speaks gives you the tools to make an informed decision when voting for Hawaii's leaders. Some of you may be more familiar with Hawaii Children's Action Network, our 501c3 sister organization. HCAN Speaks is a separate organization with a separate board of directors, but we work closely together to create a better Hawaii for our children and families. This year, HCAN Speaks embarked on a rigorous process to determine which state and House Senate candidates to endorse. We sent every candidate a questionnaire with detailed questions on 5 topics: early learning, economic justice, health and wellness, child safety, welfare, and family strengthening, as well as improving Hawaii. We received completed surveys from 32 House candidates and 8 Senate candidates. From there, we invited the top 24 candidates, 20 House candidates, and 4 Senate candidates for interviews with the HCAN Speaks board, staff, and volunteers. In these interviews, we asked each candidate how they would be a champion for Keiki, how they would involve the community and be effective legislators, how they would advance racial equity, and how they plan on winning their seat. Finally, after an intense week of interviews, the HCAN Speak board decided on 9 candidates to endorse. Mahalo to my fellow board members, the HCAN staff, and our volunteers for all your efforts in this process. Because we've chosen such a select group of candidates, our endorsement carries a lot of weight. We prepare to mobilize all of our efforts to help these candidates win their seats, and we hope that you will join us. Similarly, should the candidates be elected, we're prepared to hold each of them accountable to the answers that they gave us. Now, without further ado, let me introduce our first and only candidate for Senate in District 9, Hawaii Kai, Kuli'o'o, Niu, Aina Haina, Waialae Kahala, Diamond Head, Senator Stanley Chang. Senator Chang previously was a city council member. A committed advocate for affordable housing solutions, Senator Chang also supports investing in education, from early childhood to our public schools. He is also committed to government transparency, having knocked on tens of thousands of doors, including mine 10 years ago, to ask voters about their concerns. Next, for House District 5, North Kona, South Kona, West Ka'u, HCAN Speaks is endorsing Jeanné Kapela. Raised on a small coffee farm, Jeanné is director of the Miss Kona Coffee Scholarship Competition and a member of many community boards. She's committed to fighting for the needs of working families, combating climate change, and preserving our Aina. She also served as the executive director of an organization devoted to ending sexual exploitation through education.
Aloha, my name is Jeanné Kapela and I'm a candidate for the Hawaii State House of Representatives for District 5. Our keiki are our future, yet in Hawaii today, our schools are drastically underfunded. Childcare is unaffordable and children who are abused are shortchanged on the vital programs and services they need in order to heal. It's time that we change these things, and we must do so by electing leaders who truly care about our island's keiki and their futures. For the last 5 years, I've worked as a victim service provider for survivors of sexual exploitation. The young women with whom I've worked have inspired me to do all I can to bring hope to those who need it most. I am committed to delivering the schools our keiki deserve and increasing access to quality preschool and childcare. I will also champion a living wage, truly affordable housing, and paid sick and family leave so that our working families can nurture their youngest members and truly help them grow. We tell our children to reach for the stars. My name is Jeanné Kapela, and I promise to work each and every day to place those stars within their grasp. Mahalo to the Hawaii Children's Action Network for your support.
For House District 22, Waikiki, Ala Moana, Kaka'ako, HCAN Speaks endorses Adrian Tam. The son of immigrant parents, Adrian worked as a legislative assistant for Speaker Emeritus Calvin Say and was the office manager for Senator Stanley Chang. He helped to pass legislation, including the State Youth Commission and a statewide ban on conversion therapy for minors, and crafted other bills on housing, education, public health, homelessness, and public safety.
Aloha, my name is Adrian Tam, candidate for State House District 22. I am so honored to have the endorsement of the Hawaii Children's Action Network Speaks. Now more than ever, we need new leaders that will create a sustainable economy for our future. We need leaders that understand that we need to invest in sustainable agriculture, green technology, and anything, so that when this happens again, this pandemic, we are ready and we can bounce back and we can sustain ourselves. Hawaii Children's Action Network has always been an advocate for our kids and our families. And that's how I will be too, an advocate for you. This campaign is about putting people over politics, and that includes Hawaii families. Thank you so much, and aloha.
For House District 26, Makuli, Kaheka, Kaka'ako, Downtown, HCAN Speak endorses Coco Iwamoto. A licensed therapeutic foster parent, Coco saw firsthand the need for kids to have an advocate in the education system. She served on the State Board of Education from 2006 to 2011 and has a long history of community service, from coordinating free legal clinics at homeless shelters to serving as a board member for local nonprofits.
Aloha, I'm Coco Iwamoto. I started advocating for young people in my early 20s when I worked at a community center in New York City. Some of the young people I worked with were homeless, and so I kind of had to advocate for them accessing resources. Later on, when I moved back home to Hawaii, I became a licensed therapeutic foster parent, and I advocated for my kids through the DOE system, and that's what actually led me into community service on the Board of Education. More recently, 5 years ago, I adopted my daughter Rory, and so I've had to, navigate the childcare, the preschool, entering the DOE, all of these systems. And I know as a working mom, I know how hard it is, especially now, to find the resources we need to both sustain our families and to provide care for our children. And I've been, like many of us, have been very disappointed by the legislature's very kind of token, small amount of help they're giving when they should be really helping us with the infrastructure of negotiating childcare right now. That's the kind of advocacy and mindfulness I will bring to the legislature.
For House District 30, Kalihikai, Halawa Estates, Sand Island Airport, HCAN Speaks is endorsing Sonny Ganaden. Sonny has dedicated his career to public service. He works as a program coordinator at a nonprofit in Kalihi, mentoring young people and helping to build community. As an attorney, he also represents small local businesses, indigent defendants, juveniles, and victims of domestic violence. He's also a journalist who focuses on the dignity and creativity of ordinary heroes.
My name is Sonny Ganaden, running for the State House of Representatives, District 30, which includes Kalihi, which is behind us, Halawa, and here at Hickam Air Force Base. Many of the youth here at Hickam receive benefits that I think that the rest of the kids around the state should receive, including quality pre-K education, healthcare, and services, regardless of citizenship. As a youth mentor, I work with kids in public housing, many from the Pacific Islander diaspora of Micronesian, Filipino, and Hawaiian ancestry. As we serve the youth, we must include the cultures of the Pacific and ensure the needs of their working families are met. As a youth mentor, as a lawyer for juveniles and for victims of domestic violence, I will fight to ensure the state gives all it can to the next generation of our community. Thank you very much for your support.
For House District 36, Mililani Mauka in Mililani, HCAN Speaks endorses Trish La Chica. Trish has dedicated her career to fighting against unjust systems and policies. As an investigative journalist in the Philippines, she exposed corruption and shed light on the daily struggles of Filipino families. As a public health advocate here in Hawaii, she has helped to improve the lives of children and families and is heavily involved with local community organizations.
Aloha, Trish La Chica here, candidate for Mililani State House, District 36. Thank you to HCAN and all your partners for the support. It means a whole lot to me. I'm here to champion working families issues, put the health and safety of our keiki first. I would really like to champion expanding early learning, being able to finally pass paid sick and family leave, raising wages and protecting wages, but also really putting our keiki first. I'm just tired of our lawmakers failing to do that year after year. So send me a message online, trishlachica.com, or follow me at Facebook or Instagram at TLC for Mililani. I'm facing a tough primary and challenging a Republican incumbent. And so any support such as canvassing, sign waving, any direct voter contact or phone banking, I could use help with. Again, mahalo.
For House District 45, Schofield, Mokuleia, Waialua, Kunia, Waipio Acres, Mililani, HCAN Speaks is endorsing Representative Lauren Matsumoto. Since she was elected in 2012, Representative Matsumoto has been committed to improving public schools. She has served on the Women in Government National Board as Western Regional Board Director and has been involved with other community organizations. She speaks to children across the state, encouraging them to lead healthy lifestyles and volunteer in their community. For House District 46, Wahiwa, Whitmore Village, Launani Valley, HCAN Speaks endorses Representative Amy Perruso. A teacher at heart, Representative Perruso has taught in Hawaii public schools and served as the Hawaii State Teachers Association Secretary-Treasurer, where she organized teachers to fight for a fully funded education system. She is committed to transparency and community engagement and has fought for better health care for our families, genuinely affordable housing, and government that is truly accountable. For House District 48, Kaneohe, Kahalu, Waiahole, HCAN Speaks is endorsing Representative Lisa Kitagawa. Born and raised in Kaneohe, Representative Kitagawa was first elected in 2018 after working as office manager for Representative Aaron Ling Johansson. She has volunteered with local civic clubs and community organizations and previously worked at the University of Hawaii at Manoa. She has also helped to establish the Kaneohe Joint Outreach Center, which serves children and families experiencing homelessness.
Aloha, I'm Lisa Kitagawa and I represent and serve House District 48, which includes Kaneohe to Waiahole. I'm honored to receive the Hawaii Children's Action Network Speaks endorsement again this year. As a mother of an 8-year-old and 6-year-old, supporting our children and families is personal for me. I ran for office 2 years ago because I wanted to make my hometown of Kaneohe and our state a better place for my children and those of future generations. I'm proud to have introduced and supported legislation that improves our public education system, expands Hawaii's family leave law, enhances health and safety of our children, and protects our most vulnerable keiki. I will continue to be a strong advocate for families and our community's keiki, and I look forward to a continued partnership with the Hawaii Children's Action Network Speaks to promote legislation that helps our local families and children thrive. Thank you again for the support and endorsement. Mahalo.
Once again, here are the candidates HCAN Speaks is endorsing for House and Senate races. Whether or not you live in their districts, you can help ensure that these champions for children are elected. Here are 3 simple ways that you can get involved. First, join HCAN Speaks for a virtual pauhana with these candidates on Thursday, July 16th. This isn't just another Zoom webinar. You'll actually get to spend some time with each candidate and get to know them and their policy priorities. This is a great way to learn about how they plan to make a better Hawaii for our keiki. You can also sign up on our website to volunteer for these candidates. Primary election ballots will be delivered on July 20th, and these candidates will need all the help that they can get, especially now that campaigning is more limited due to COVID-19. Lastly, if you have friends and family members in any of these districts, let them know about our endorsement and tell them why it's so important to have elected officials who will fight for our children and families. Make sure that they are registered to vote by this Thursday, July 9th. Lastly, thank you again for joining HCAN Speaks this morning. I hope you're as excited as we are to elect these 9 candidates and create a better Hawaii for generations to come. Mahalo.